Satnam Starseed, Satnam Gridworker, Satnam EarthKeeper, Fae beings, shamans, plant moms, ley line seekers, Satnam, all of you who resonate with the term EarthKeeper, and there should not be many of us, but there should be quite a few of people who have taken on that term as an activating term in their soul contract and in their mission. Then Satnam to you, Jai Gurudev to you. So we throw around these terms a lot in our spiritual communities, like when we're asking about our soul purpose or our soul mission. We're like, well, what the heck are we even doing here? This term Gridworker shows up often. And I see most of the time, nobody has real, actual, practical, applied experience of what that means. It just resonates with them. So we're coming out of this age of information. And if you are on any kind of social media platform, you know that we are saturated with information coming from all sorts of channels. And we are out of that kind of Piscean age of just knowing. And we're coming into this term, this new phase of being, of experience. And so it's time to have a practical experience of what that actually means. And in our galactic lineages, beings who would resonate with the term Gridworker or call themselves that are deeply devoted and deeply committed to the tending, the stewardship, and the curating of the planetary grid that they manage. And it's a very, very sacred position. And I think we're just over calling ourselves these things. And now it's time to really step into, well, what does it mean? Like, what does it mean to be a grid worker? So we on this planet, we use the term grid because if you look at the apparatus of consciousness that is the planet's subtle body, that is Gaia's subtle body, it's this cross-hatching of lines, and they're not all the same thickness, or there's nothing really like a pattern about it. There are some places where it's very symmetrical, but it's amorphous. It's a subtle body. It's an aura, and it's always shifting, and it changes depending on the consciousness that's perceiving it. So when people see these lines, these crossings of energy that sometimes are called ley lines, it can look like a grid. And I believe the ones who are sighted, the ones who are gifted with the sight and are clairvoyant, have begun calling themselves grid workers because it kind of looks like a grid in some places, and it might feel like a grid if you're looking at it on a 2D map. But the grid is ever shifting. I want to emphasize that. It's never a localized, stagnant thing. There are very predictable patterns to it. But it is the subtle body of Gaia, this crystalline structure of consciousness that runs channels of energy through it, and sometimes cross and create vortexes and portals and nodes and centers of all sorts of things happen within the subtle body. You think your subtle body is complicated. Imagine the subtle body of a goddess, right? So if you are a grid worker, you are a handmaiden or a handmaid of the goddess, of the mother goddess in her form as the planet. And you might find yourself very sensitive to these structures that we call the grid. So you might even see it. You definitely might feel it. You might feel called to certain places for no reason, or just a butterfly just floats by casually. Yeah, just randomly look outside and there's an animal messenger talking to you, or we are so bio-individuated. We come from such different places and different backgrounds that these sensitivities to the unseen manifest in all sorts of ways. So when I say this might happen, that might happen, that's not cut and dry. That doesn't mean, oh, well, it doesn't work for me. That doesn't mean that I don't think I am anymore. You always trust your residents. If you're here, if you're listening to me blabber away, then you are a grid worker. My guides call grid workers keepers, realm keepers, keepers of the realm. Very, very Game of Thrones, but that's probably to influence me. But they call themselves keepers. The other keepers that I've met from other planetary structures also have this kind of neutralizing title of just like maintenance, literally planetary maintenance. You have been doing this for a long time. If you are resonating with this sound, this activating word, this trigger word in a 3D avatar body, then you have definitely been tending to the goddess in her many forms, in many different lifetimes, and in many different places. So welcome back. It's time to get back to work. It's time to actually do it. I have some notes to try to keep me on track. But yeah, so someone who works with the crystalline holographic network of energy, what my guides call the shining structure, the subtle body of Gaia. And to communicate with the subtle body of Gaia, you have to develop your subtle body. Your avatar is literally built from her. This flesh puppet that I am manipulating right now is built only from her. And so the subtle body of this flesh puppet, it also has some, it's not, our subtle body isn't completely built from her, because our subtle body is very a conglomerate of all the lifetimes we've ever lived in. And it's called the seed body. It holds the seeds of every kind of karmic projection you've ever begun. So it's not just an earthly thing, our subtle body, but our physical body is very, very earthly. And even some of us are activating non-earthly elements of our DNA within this body, creating some really interesting, beautiful hybriding structures, trying to stay on track. So you have to communicate subtle body to subtle body. If you want to see, for instance, clairvoyantly, you want to see the unseen, you want to see the subtle realms, you have to develop your subtle eyes. It's very rare for someone to see subtle energetic movements with their physical body's eyes. It's usually something you see with the eyes and any kind of sensory organ you have within your subtle body that's developed. Sometimes that's a feeling, sometimes that's a hearing, sometimes it's a knowing. All these subtle perceptions come through the development of the subtle body. So communicating with Gaia's subtle body requires you to clarify, clear, strengthen, and then learn to manipulate your own subtle body, just like a baby learning how to work its body, learning how to work its arms and its eyes and its head and how to turn. You have to learn how to do these things within your subtle body. And a lot of us who are in this channel and watching this right now, we're born with certain gifts that we've accumulated from lifetimes in the past. So we have a heads up. We have this like thing that's always bugging us about how we should be able to walk around this earth and what we should be able to manipulate, and telekinesis and all sorts of things that weird muggles out, right? Because it's in us very profoundly. It's very loud, it's very resonant, and it's very held in the aura because it's very recent. And we wanted these gifts to come through now because they are what we are here to give, right? So your sensitivities and ability to perceive the grid now with what you have now is because of your past lives and what you've been doing. And now is the time to turn them on. Like when we do all these activations, activate, that's really a catalyst. That's like a starting the fire, but you have to tend the fire. You have to put fuel in the fire. The fire will go out if you just start the fire and leave it, right? So this kind of ceremony that we're going to go through is going to activate a remembrance within you of Gaia's energy, of how to call her in and call her up and make her louder, really through just strengthening your subtle body and allowing you to perceive what you already kind of perceive naturally. Okay, right. So when the human subtle body is weak or damaged, all sorts of things can begin to happen to your experience that we don't have time to get into. All sorts of trouble happens. If you want to think about the physical manifestation of the subtle body in our avatar, you want to think fascia. The fascia really expresses the subtle body to me the best. The way it's interwoven through everything, the way it holds things in shape. When you die, when your soul leaves this body, it's carried in the subtle body to other lifetimes. And the seeds that all your actions, all your words are dropping these little seeds into your subtle body. It's called the seed body, literally. The causal body, the starter point. Right? So when the subtle body carries the soul into its next lifetime, those seeds from this one start to sprout, and that's what forms the physical body of the next lifetime. So this subtle body holds things together. You lose all of the bodies except for the soul and the subtle body. That's what we use when we're learning astral projection. It's all subtle body development. The subtle body holds the Akashic records. The subtle body holds those karmic seeds. The subtle body interweaves through everything. So like if you've ever been cooking chicken, non-vegetarians, sorry, vegetarians. I'm vegetarian, but I cook meat. And if you've ever cooked meat and you've had that piece of chicken and it has that like white kind of filmy thing on it, right? And you go to pull it off and it doesn't make a clean break because you see it's like interwoven through the muscle and it's like going and branching off into other places. It gets really thick and almost impossible to cut in one place, and then it spreads almost to like a sheet of film in another place. That's the subtle body. That's exactly how the subtle body works and moves. It's amorphous, it's changing, and it weaves through the soul, through the pranic body, through the physical body, through the radiant body, through the everything. The subtle body is through everything. But while we're in this physical earthly avatar, it's kind of concentrated at our feet. And beings with a very powerful subtle body kind of get a third arc line at their feet, which is why we always look at pictures of the guru's feet and the lotus feet of Narayan and the feet and the feet and the feet and the feet, because the subtle body is in the feet, right? So if your subtle body is weak, almost everything is kind of weakened, and there are all sorts of things that cause damage to a subtle body. And you can just take your pick and imagine all sorts of negativities that cause weaknesses and breaks in the subtle body, or just complete disengagement, neglect, non-awareness that it's even there. So it brings in, like, and when we're teaching subtle body stuff in yoga, it's always taught that a weak subtle body creates a very gullible person. It allows all sorts of things to get in that just shouldn't, you know? Like, you know, another person of a certain fortitude or strength might look at someone getting sold snake oil and like being like, how do you not see that that's bullshit, you know? But someone of a very weak, subtle body would be very easily manipulated by stuff that shouldn't really get to them. And you see that same happening going on in places where Gaia's subtle body is weakened, and her subtle body is weakened in places of extreme poverty, in places of extreme violence, all sorts of negative energy fields start to gather and pool and become a cycle. It weakens the subtle body of Gaia, and things start to shut down, and the lack of 5-year-old root structures even beneath the ground causes a weakness in her subtle body. So places like inner cities where there's not a lot of nature or trees, there's all sorts of places where her subtle body's weakened, and it allows for infiltration into all of her bodies. And you can see how those things kind of cascade into each other, which is why this is so important, because Gridworker, EarthKeeper, your job is more than just to go to beautiful mountain places and chant in the woods and play with vortexes and open up portals inside of waterfalls. As much as that's like amazing and what we love to do, our job now, what we're being called to do, is to heal the grid. Right now it's time to have an applied experience of what does that mean. Everywhere where there is this collection of negativity, you have the power to influence and change. It doesn't have to just continue. And you can do it from the subtle realms. You can do it from the causal realms. You don't have to hit the streets and volunteer and pick up trash. I mean, that's nice. You don't have to go, give all your money away to a charity, or walk the round. What have I done? Walk the rounds at night and go Narcan prostitutes, or whatever you feel like you need to do to help. It can be really simple. It can be really quantum. It can be the way that we have always done it in ancient future times, in galactic times. It can be through these meditative practices that we are going to get into through mantras and stuff like that. But yeah, the call to just going to the damaged places of Mama's subtle form. A lot of EarthKeepers, Gridworkers, find themselves called to massacre sites. Just randomly showing up in places where an entire battle happened, right? Because that is an anchor point of negativity. Places where a lot of souls have exited together, creating that big opening, and maybe not in such a highly elevated way, which allows the opening to just kind of remain and keep leaking nasty stuff. I'm blabbing. We're gonna get to it. I know. I wanted to get that point across because it seemed really important to Gaia, of the vortexes, the energy node points, these central stations of her teleharmonic fields inside the surface of her body and above the surface of her body are great. And you will get called to activate stargates. You will get called to rebuild temples. You will get called to these incredible, mind-blowing, beautiful places. But if you want to get to work and serve your mission, and trust me, you do, because your destiny starts unfolding when you start showing up for it, right? Then I'm sure that there's all sorts of little low income, low education, violent places within a city near you that could use your support, or even war-torn places across oceans. I'm not gonna say it, but you know what I'm talking about. Instead of yelling at people on the internet and posting memes and telling everybody else to help, you do it. You free it, okay? And this is the best way to do things like that, from the comfort of your living room or your meditation room or anything. Yeah. So the Earth grid is called the Earth Mandala. or Gaia's mandala. I'm reading my notes. There is no, oh, and excuse my congestion. I'm sorry. I just had gotten back from traveling to the beautiful Colorado, and I got this weird sinus infection or whatever. I'm sure it's just an upgrade. There is no amount of picking up trash from one place to go gather it in mass in another place that will help heal the subtle body of Gaia. This is from her. And when you start to connect with her and you start to channel her and you really are connecting with her consciousness, you can really hear like, man, all of these things that we've been like so upset about are fruitless. And we should have just listened to our mother, because she's literally talking to us and she has a plan. She knew you signed up to be a grid keeper, to be an earth worker, and she has like your whole mission laid out for you, literally on a map. If you ever done your astrocartography, you've seen it. Okay. Clean up the earth attempts are in vain. The pollution of the earth is directly representative of the subconscious of man, the pollution inside our subconscious. And only when we clear our subconscious through meditation will the pollution problem will fix itself. If men and women, when I say that, humans, what's on my lip? Start all meditating and we don't have this subconscious full of garbage, we will stop polluting the inner, the outer, the micro, the macro. Does anyone see that that's directly connected yet? Okay. So our minds are full of garbage and our earth is full of garbage, and picking it up and moving it to another place is not going to help. Even now I see they're like, we're training bacteria to eat plastic. Okay. Have we not realized that you can't get rid of energy yet? It's just going to create another waste form. You know what I mean? I think we're onto some good stuff, but it's really healing the inside will heal the outside. She says, if to heal the earth, you must feel the earth. Ooh, this was when she was going in. Gaia doesn't need any help. That's what she's saying. I don't need any help. She really doesn't. She really doesn't. Her grace is just the patience. All the triggers that you have about preserving her current conditions come from within. If trash bothers you, your subconscious dirtiness is bothering you, and that's the trigger. If the climate change is bothering you, you have an inner anger problem, and that's the trigger. Attachments, feelings of loss, clinging to the ways that things are now is not her way. She is goddess, so she's ever evolving, and she doesn't cling to some sort of like static version of what she was that we have deemed better or pristine. These are the ways of a mortal. Those are the mental conditionings of a human, because we fear death. So when we see that there is an animal that's going extinct, it reminds us that we too are going extinct, and we start like panicking and trying to save it, and it's usually in vain, and thinking that if I can preserve this animal, then maybe I can figure out a way to preserve myself. And that's like just because we can't see our immortality yet, and we just completely identify with the body. Forcing endangered species into breeding programs so that their souls must bind to an avatar that offers an experience that's no longer needed for growth is cruel. Like, you'll see that a lot of the pandas don't breed anymore, or they just don't know how to take care of their kids anymore and stuff. It's because the experiences that avatar provides for the data collection that is this earth ship is no longer needed. And by forcing that species to continue to procreate, that means you're forcing a soul to bind to that avatar. So a soul that doesn't really even need to have that experience, what a waste of an incarnation. You know, what a waste of an entire beautiful incarnation to come into a body that the experience is done. It's done. You know, it's time to turn into something else. Even the freaking out about the invasive species. is a haltage to evolution, because we see like, no, this thing is coming in and it's taking over, and all the plant life that was there before is getting completely erased and tuned out. And don't you realize yet that the one that rotates the earth is not you? And if that was a problem, it would have been handled. And it's probably, if it's happening like wildfire, it's probably something that's energetically supported. And it's time for that shift to begin and for us to be in flow state. But it's really hard. I am all air sign, and I still struggle with flow state sometimes. You get in your head how you feel something has to be, how it was, how you grew up with it, how much you loved this, or your grandpa talked about the old days when you could just grab a rainbow trout right out the lake and blah, blah, blah. And, well, we are supposed to be shifting and moving and changing and evolving with our environment, and not digging our heels in and trying to force a dam. It's going to be broken through anyway. But when you connect with Gaia, subtle body to subtle body, you are consciousness to consciousness, telepathically connected with her. These things become very apparent and become very loud. And then you can start to really listen to your specific mission, what you came to give this planet, your bio-individuated gift that serves her, that serves the goddess. This is how fairies work. This is how a lot of the fae beings, I know we have like fear. Everybody has fear about things, but those things snatch your kids, I've heard. I've heard. There's all sorts of beings that do that. Humans do that, you know what I mean? But there are these beings that I have called fae, that I have connected with as fae beings, and they are just smitten, intoxicated with mother. That's what started my kind of like, well, what is the big deal about this mother thing, because it's like almost like a drug, being in the energies of her, being in the subtle body of her, being able to serve her, whatever you need. It's just like, trust me, it's serving you more than it's serving her, and it's just the ability to be in communication with a being like the planet, and like in cahoots, and like asking you for faith. Oh my God, I can't even. So opening up these connections, what we're going to do today with this initiation is really just a rededication of yourself to what you've already committed to, and could take you lifetimes to figure out like, oh shoot, I'm a steward of the planet. I'm supposed to be keeping this stuff together. That's why I'm always drawn to these places. That's why I can't stand pollution. That's why war breaks my heart in pieces and it doesn't seem to bother the person next to me, because you are a keeper. You are a neutralizing agent. You are here to bring balance and harmony, and this is how you do it. Okay, let's tune in. Yee! I'm so excited. Okay, this is a happy day. So we tune in with 3 Ong Namo Gurudev Namos. If you've never tuned in with me before, it is Ong Namo Gurudev Namo. And we say it 3 times and kind of drawn out. And then we're going to say 3 protection mantras, 3 recitations of 1 protection mantra, which is Ad Gure Name, Jugad Gure Name, Sat Gure Name, Siddhi Gurudeve Name. And we're going to say that 3 times. And if you are not comfortable with the words, just listen and breathe deeply. If you are comfortable with at least faking and moving your lips and your teeth and your tongue while you're listening to the sound current, the brain doesn't know the difference and you can still like really tune in with us. Okay. All right, so let's rub our hands together, bringing both sides of our aura into balance, bringing both sides of our brain into balance. And inhale deep. Pull the root lock up, pull up the rectum and the sex organs like you're stopping the flow of urination. Hold the breath here. Exhale. And inhale. Pull everything up. Roll the eyes up and in. Look at the third eye. Press the tip of the tongue against the roof of the mouth. Hold the breath. And exhale. And inhale to tune in. Inhale deep. Press the palms together. Call down an emerald green light, column of light all around you. The green light of Mother Gaia. Exhale and hold the visual of you seated inside a pillar of emerald green light. And hold this visualization around you while we chant the protection mantra. Inhale deep. Gure name juga Gure name Sat Gure name Sri Guru Deva Vehi name Gure name juga Gure name Sat Gure name Sri Guru Deva Vehi name Gure name juga Gure name Sat Gure name Sri Guru Deva Vehi name. Inhale. Press the palms together. Pull the root lock up, rectum, sex organs up. Roll the eyes up and in. And exhale and relax. Okay, so we're going to begin with a Kriya that is called the Old Gypsy Way of Calling Down the Spirit, or Call on the Spirit of Mother Earth. The Old Gypsy Way of Calling Down the Spirit was what it was called in the 70s when it was first introduced. And, you know, I'll let you decide about what you feel coming from this practice. It's very simple, but like most simple practices, it's very powerful. So you're just going to sit in easy pose, legs crossed with your spine straight and a slight neck lock, which means your neck is trying to tucked back in, making, if you touch back here, it's not projecting forward, it's like a very straight neck, straight spine. You're gonna raise these two arms up 60 degrees with the palms flat, thumbs flat, like this. Elbows and wrists are straight. And you're gonna stretch the body forward slightly. Okay, and the angles of the palms will follow the angle of the arms. The fingers are straight, the thumbs are kind of relaxed, so you're just here. Just here. You're making a very interesting sacred geometry with your aura and your arc line right now. And your hands are gonna start feeling a lot. So just, your timer's already started, so just close your eyes and start breathing consciously long and deep through the nose and out through the nose. And I want you to envision at the center of your heart, there is a flame, a little flame flickering away right in your heart chakra. Really hold to that visualization. We'll be here for 2.5 more minutes. And inhale really deep and relax the hands down into your lap, but hold your meditation. And exhale, hold your meditation. Hold that flame in your heart center. This is the beginning of your recommitment to Gaia. This is the beginning of your ceremony, inviting her spirit into your avatar in this way. Inhale deeply and hold a prayer for the loftiness of the Creator Mother and peace. Hold the breath in. Exhale. And inhale deeply. Deep, deep, deep. Feel in your heart the blessing of Divine Mother. Hold the breath. Feel the blessing in the heart center. Exhale. Inhale one last time, very deep. Now I want you to taste the sweetness of life, the sweetness of the earth. Hold the breath in. And exhale it out and relax. Okay, so we've called in Mother Spirit into our presence, into our conscious awareness, calling her, engaging her with us. So now we're going to do, while we have her attention, we're going to do this very ancient meditation. This meditation was even said to be given by Sarah to Abraham in biblical times. Woo! I just got a tingle in my crown, and it's a crown activation. So this is called the Half Star of David meditation. It's a very ancient pranayama. It's a very powerful pranayama, and it's a very powerful mudra. So you're going to press your thumbs together, press your Jupiter fingers together and your Saturn fingers together, and leave the Sun and Mercury finger apart. Not stretched, just like this. There should be a lot of pressure on the fingers that are touching. Enough so it makes heat. Firm enough to make great heat in the hands. We're calling in energy, and this is an activation if you haven't gotten that yet. So the thumbs it's going to be right in front of the heart, right? So we're just holding this mudra right in front of the heart. The thumbs are kind of pointing towards the heart. Not really, because these fingers, the pinky finger should be sending the energy kind of downwards, kind of towards the earth. So right here is good. Perfect for that. This thing is so powerful. My eyes are twitching, just adjusting. Okay, so you're here, right in front of the heart chakra. You're going to close your eyes, and through the closed eyelids, you're going to roll your eyes up. Physically roll them up. Keep the eyes closed and physically roll. This is an optical nerve lock, and this holds the brain in a position that we need it to be while you're doing this Kriya. So the eyes looking up and envisioning that you're seeing through your skull. Imagine that you're seeing right out of the top of your head, okay? And now we're going to breathe. While you're in this position, don't worry, your timer's already going. Your eyes are rolled up. You're looking through the closed eyes out of the top of the skull, and you're breathing long and slow through the nose. Hold the breath as long as you can, and then exhaling through the nose and holding the breath out as long as you can. So inhale as long and slow as you can. Hold for as long as you can, and then exhaling as slowly and consciously as you can, and holding the breath out for as long as you can. Okay. And now I want you to move the breath through the crown, where you're looking. When you feel the breath come in, feel it moving through the crown and out through the crown, and see it moving in and out as a white light. We're going to be here for a few minutes, so go deep with this energy. Inhale really deep. Hold the breath in. Feeling all that magnificent healing energy. And exhale. And inhale deep one more time. Now hold the energy in. Completely invigorated and vitalized the crown chakra. Exhale. And last time, inhale really deep. Hold the breath. And exhale. And take your time letting yourself come back to your body after that very powerful activation. I don't need to tell you what you just went through. So you know how that makes you feel. That's one thing that maybe should be noted. A lot of times with subtle experiences, they are weakened by 3D blabbering. But the sound, outward verbal projections, is like the grossest form of sound. Like what you hear is like the physical body of what's happening. So there's subtle layers to sound, you know, and taking it out of those subtle layers and speaking it into existence gives it a body. That's why the word is so powerful. In the beginning there was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. It is like how God makes a body with sound, right? So if you give these experiences physical bodies, it pulls them out of their subtle realities. And that's when you hear a lot of these masters talking about humility and developing a deep sense of humility, because if you go into these realms that we're going through right now, that you just went through a realm, and it's so exciting, and you then come into this world and start talking about it, and you're anchoring it into this world. So in a way, you weaken your gifts, you weaken your powers the more that you blah, 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 blah. I was in this astral dimension. I went here. I did this. I saw this. I was with these, you know, I love to share experiences and things like that, but I've always found that it just, I never thought it was like weakening my gifts, but I always felt like it didn't really serve. Only if it was in service would I share some of the things that I have experienced, but not just to be like, I saw this here, because there's really no point. My bio-individuated experience of the Pleiades is not going to be yours, you know, and it just makes people kind of piggyback and copycat off of something that isn't theirs. So I've never been called to blab on the internet about what I saw in what realm where, and that turns out to serve me to my benefit. It was probably my guides already, like, you know, kind of just deterring me from doing just blatant channelings and things like this, because it weakens your ability to go beyond that. It weakens your ability to, you know, continue developing. It kind of can get you stuck there, or everything can just fall apart. So when you are having these big experiences in subtle realms, keep it to yourself, unless it's something that you really feel like is needed you're being called to share, pushed to share, or would be very helpful to share. But other than that, these things aren't frivolous, so they're very sacred and they're very just for you. Okay, beautiful. So now we have that healing light reactivated within us, and we're going to offer it back to Gaia, making us a channel of the divine energies that we bring in our particular form, and kind of fire hose turn it where we want it, which is to Gaia's grid and to Gaia's body. So we're going to be using her particular sound code. One of Gaia's many key codes is Ra, Ma, Da, Sa, Sa, Se, So, Hung. 8 sounds, and they are, I wouldn't say the root, but like a main key code sound of Gaia. If you were clairaudiently to tune into Gaia and listen to her being, her essence would be vibrating these sounds. Ra, Ma, Da, Sa, Sa, Se, So, Hung. You feel it in your bones. You feel it because you're made of it. You know, when you sing it, you just like, it's what we are made of. Our cells that are given to us by Mother Gaia are literally built of these sounds. So Ra is the energy of the sun. Ma is the energy of the moon, of the mother. Cool, nurturing. Ra, hot and generative. Da is the sound of earth. Da, like when you think of Spanish, da, like to give, dar, darti of darti, hey, is earth, to give, the secure personal ground of action that is mother, the substrate. Sa is the sound of infinity, and it's all dimensions of the cosmos. Is sa. It's ever expansive, it keeps going, it's totality. And then when you expansiveness into totality would be so, I think. Because Sa is the impersonal infinity and Se is the personal infinity. So I think Sa would be, yeah, Sa would be infinity, So would be the totality of infinity, and then Se would be your personal experience of infinity. And Hung is, it's the action word of manifestation of God. It's when it's like, it's a little different from Hud. It's like, I am thou, I am that, I am you, Hung. So when you put these sounds together, the sun, the moon, the earth, the infinity in all of its expressions, and then into the physical manifestation, that is the reality that this 3D world provides. Literally, it's all of the, the balancing of the duality and of the realizing that you are beyond this little thing. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, this is the KeyCode of Gaia. And this is one of the main healing tools. This is the ultimate healing tool. If you want to heal anything physical, you use this mantra. And if we are working with healing the body of Gaia, we use this mantra. Okay, so we're going to, I'm all buzzed from that meditation. Geez, we're going to sit up straight, a slight neck lock, and we're going to put our arms here. I hope someone's noticing the Egyptian theme here. Gypsies in the first one. Gypsy way of calling down, that's Egypt. And then the half star of David, Abraham. And then now we're doing this. Come on. Okay, your hands are gonna be here. Let's see, I have some notes. The elbows are bent down by the sides, tucked comfortably but firmly against the ribs. You should feel a little pressure against your ribs. The forearms are almost perpendicular to the floor, and the hands are extended at a 45-degree angle from the center of the body. The palms are flat but not rigid. But consciously throughout this meditation, remind yourself to keep the palms flat because they might start to do this. Okay, so keep remembering. The wrists are pulled back, fingers together, and we're going to chant the mantra. Well, in your mind, you're going to visualize the planet Earth from space, surrounded by white light. You're just gonna, this whole 11 minutes, you're going to see Mama Gaia in her planetary galactic star form, surrounded by white light. And you're holding this position, okay? And we're gonna chant the mantra, and we're going to send it right to that visualization. So it's going to be like this. You're going to inhale. Ra, ma, da, sa, se, so, hung. And on hung, you're going to pull your navel in. Okay? And the mantra should be said on one complete inhale. Okay, so try not to breathe again once we start. Go ahead and get yourself into position. Close your eyes and see the planet spinning. See her from space. And cover her in the whitest light that you can imagine, like snow. Okay, and inhale. Let's send our sounds to this holographic projection. Ra, ma, da, sa, se, so, hung. Ra, ma, da, sa, se, so, hung. Ra, ma, da, sa, se, so, hung. Ra ma da sa sa se so 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 hung. Ra, Ma, Da, Sa, Sa, Se, So, Hung. And inhale deep. Hold the breath and visualize the earth completely covered in that white light, being totally healthy, completely radiant, completely healed, strong, the way you envision a paradise earth. And exhale, and inhale one more time. See the planet covered in the white light, completely healed. Hold the breath in. Offer this prayer, offer this projection, this intention, this manifestation to the Mother. Offer it to the collective consciousness and exhale. Inhale. Offer the same prayer again. That completely healed earth, completely radiant, ascendant, crystalline. Hold the breath, lock it into the morphogenetic field, and exhale. Beautiful. Okay, so we're at a really special part of your initiation back into your role as a grid worker on this plane, where we are holding energy. We've called energy in, we're holding it, we've channeled it to the Mother in her planetary form. We've begun an energy exchange with her in this way. All that she's given us throughout our life, we've just for the last 11 minutes been pouring it back into her. And this is really a call of consciousness, a call of a new awareness, a call of a new presence within yourself, a new hat, not to wear outside, but a hat within your heart of your true role, one of your true purposes of your existence, which is to serve her, to serve the goddess. And there is this moment of awakening in the Buddha's life. His moment of enlightenment was met with a lot of challenges, a lot that I'm sure you can relate to that. The closer you get to holding truth and realization and light, the more equal amount of darkness or challenges or obstacles show up in this realm of duality, this polarity planet. That's one of the fundamental concepts. And as Buddha was approaching his throne of enlightenment, he was being attacked by many things that were trying to steal his throne and steal his claim as a true sovereign realized king. And he used this mudra that we're going to use now, called the Bhumi Sparsha mudra. And it translates to call the earth to witness, because he needed something to witness his ascension for it to count, I guess. And all these things were trying to say, take it from him, like fraudulently, identity theft of like, no, I reached enlightenment. It was me. And he needed a true witness. And he used this mudra to call the spirit of the Mother Earth to his presence, to witness him as he reached his ascension, as he reached enlightenment. It's a very dramatic moment. He heard this big thundering voice coming up from the earth, I bear witness. And that was Gaia's voice saying, like, I see you, we got this. You can you can bring it up in court. We know it was you. It's like, can you imagine this realm, if Buddha didn't reach enlightenment, if some demon claimed it? I feel like that happens often with other things. But thank goodness he used this mudra, and thank goodness he had this wisdom, and Mama readily responded. So now as you are approaching this moment of awareness, this heightened, enlightened reality experience of what you are and what you can do, we are going to use the same mudra to call her to our presence, to bear witness to our commitment ceremony to her. Okay, so the mudra is pretty simple. You're going to put your left hand kind of like in a cup in your lap. Can you see? No, you can't. Like this in your lap, like cupped. And then this hand here is going to be over this knee, touching the earth. Oof, you can't see me. This is as back as I can get. But so it's over this knee, and it's just touching the earth here, if you can do that. Okay? All 4 fingers are touching the earth, and the thumb kind of isn't. Okay. So we're going to close our eyes, straighten the spine, hold our Bhumi Sparsha Mudra, calling the earth to be witness, calling the earth to bear witness to our commitment to her, to our remembering of what we are, of what she is, of how to communicate with her. Start breathing in long and deep through the nose and out through the nose, and let the mudra do its magic. We're going to listen to some really special sounds, a meditation from Vrindavan, which is a portal, a multidimensional portal, forest. Let's breathe in and listen to the sounds. feel the presence of Mama Gaia up your arm, through your shoulders, into your left palm. Let that bright green or blue energy spin and play in your right palm, in your left palm. And incorporate itself inside your navel. And just become one with you. A link between you and Mother Gaia. And inhale very deeply. And exhale and let yourself come back. That activation is very powerful. That portal, that earth portal we were listening to. And it creates that same big energy field that happens in Vrindavan, in the portal of Vrindavan, which is a celestial portal, not like a inner earth portal. It's to these higher levels of ether with very celestial energies that come in. So it spaces me all the way out when I'm playing it. It's called the earth portal, but it should be called something else because, man. So we are at the end of your initiation, reinitiation, dedication ceremony to becoming an earth keeper, to remembering that you're an earth keeper. And we are going to finish with just a little chant that you might know. You're going to place your right arm on your left shoulder here. You're going to put this arm up 60 degrees, very flat, very, who-esque, very Nazi-esque. And let me see if you can see me this way. Like this, okay? And your eyes are going to be rolled up and in, but 9/10 open. So there's this little crack that you can see through. The eyes are closed 9/10. And then through that eyelid, they're going to be rolled up and in, looking at the third eye point. Right? So you're here. And sing with me. We all come from the garden, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean. We all come from the garden, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean. We all come from the garden, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean. We all come from the gardens, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean. We all come from the gardens, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean. We all come from the gardens, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean. We all come from the gardens, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean. And inhale. And roll the eyes up and in and pull the root lock up strong and seal in this commitment of faith, this remembering, this realization of you. And exhale and relax the arm down. And that's it. You did it. You are rededicated to remembrance of the mother. And this is such a beautiful expression. This is such a beautiful step to take for your mission, for your existence, for your incarnation. It's a big, big blessing for Gaia, and it's an even bigger blessing for you. And I am so whacked out from those practices that I definitely need to go ground. But I would like to emphasize the point that this is a recommitment. This is a dedication, and all catalysts need fuel, like we talked about in the beginning, to cultivate your gifts, which are specific and bio-individuated to you. You will need a practice, not just a starter like this was, an initiation. You will need a regular practice to become stronger, to clear your energy bodies, and then to start to learn how they work, the steering wheels and the remote controls of them. And I offer the EarthKeepers Sadhana as an offering specifically for beings like ourselves who have these profound, subtle bodies and need to develop them and clarify them and learn how to work them. And our guides have created a sadhana, a full practice from pranayama to kriya to mantra and meditation that is a just complete package of what an earth keeper would need to have a big, strong, and clear, subtle body. There's a very secret mantra in there that is used to raise the crystalline grid, to bring that teleharmonic, crisscrossing fascia field of energy that is Gaia's grid up and into your kind of manipulative area. It was just made, it was originally called the Gridworkers Sadhana, and I changed it to EarthKeepers Sadhana because I just resonate more with us as keepers of the earth, and that will change from incarnation to incarnation. But the grid is just such a, like, I don't know, it's not a grid, it's like this ever-changing crystal dewdroppy thing that's like everywhere. It's in the sky, it's in the ground, it's in the trees, it's everywhere. It's her aura. So it's like, yeah. So anyway, the Gridworkers Sadhana became the EarthKeepers Sadhana, and it's a committed practice. It was something that you would have to dedicate yourself to for at least 40 days once you begin. And after that, you can go to 90 days. After that, you can go to 120 days. After that, if you want to develop a siddhi, a supernatural power, you go to 1,000 days. But don't do it for the siddhis. Do it for Gaia. Do it for Mama. You can do the sadhana for the rest of your life if you want to, if it resonates with you. But it's there's practices in there that are given to people who wield earth and ether, to learn how to move ether through earth, which is really moving energy through your body and channeling it into different places. There's a practice in there directly for learning how to feed that Ramadasa meditation, that key code, into different people, animals, plants, the grid, whatever you're using, how to like really focalize it into a certain space. I'm trying to think. We shot it in Colorado in this place called Jacob's Ladder, which is like this huge stone step waterfall gorge that I was not aware of. And it's just so funny that it's called Jacob's Ladder, because that's like that Bible story where the guy fell asleep in a field and like woke up and angels were going up and down stairs, and everybody's like, that's definitely a spaceship. It was so funny to me that it was called Jacob's Ladder. Well, we shot it right on top of Jacob's Ladder, so while you're doing the practice, if you do the practice with me, you're kind of in that energy field too. So it was really interesting. We had a visitation from Bastet, the Egyptian cat goddess. We had a lot of high vibrational energy in upstate New York, and that's where the sadhana was shot and where you can tap into. These kind of things are always good to do outside if you are so lucky as to have a place where you can comfortably practice outside, magic outside. But if you don't, remember that we are quantum, and you can just like tune in to wherever part of the grid that you want to tune into when you're doing these practices. Anywhere that you want to heal, if you have the projection of your mind's eye, you can send healing to it. Any place, any war, any space, any child, anything can be accessed through these practices and through the development of these practices. So I am really excited to offer this to people, for the healers to get turned on, for the X-Men to get turned on, and to like, you know, start tipping the scales a little bit in the I can't even think of words. In the side of funness. For the benefit of funness, for the benefit of oneness, funness. And that's it. Let's do 3 long satnams so I can go eat something. Rub your hands together. Inhale, bring them to your sternum. Hold gratitude in your heart for Gaia. Hold gratitude in your heart for your soul, for your presence here. And exhale. Inhale. Satnam. Deep bow to you. Satnam, Earthkeeper. I'm really excited. Keep going with your practice so we can turn into 8-foot tall glowing Lemurians again. Bye, Satnam. Jai Guru Dev.